brings us to our speaker spot. Every week at Business at Breakfast, one of the members gets the opportunity to share with the group a little bit about themselves and what it is that they do. Today we have the wonderful, hang on, where's my spotlight, Cathy? So I can spotlight the other person.
Oh, I actually have it on, so something must be up weird with my computer.
Okay, don't worry, I'll spotlight at my end.
All right,
Spotlight.
second, let me see.
Yeah, it should be all right. Yeah, no, it didn't. Did it spotlight for anyone else?
Right, no, and see if you can do it for yourself now, because I took mine off.
I'm going to say I press spotlight for everyone.
No, yeah, on your own square.
Yeah, so let's just say that it's
Okay.
not correct. But anyhow, I touched some things earlier trying to make you the a co-host, and it said
Oh, okay. I wonder if
but it wouldn't let me add you in. That's all right. I probably just have to turn everything on and off and reset, and I'll test again another time.
Okay.
But but I did try to add you a number of different ways, and each time Zoom said, "No, we're not letting her be in charge." It didn't matter what I wrote. It didn't matter how I went into it. It's just gone, no.
No.
Not
right.
her. No. And I've gone,
sometimes that's the answer.
So there you go. So anyhow, well, I'll just tell you who it is then, since I can't seem to spotlight for everyone or for me or pin you or anything like that. Is today we have the wonderful Cathy Weaver as our speaker today. She's completely unaware of this, but however, Cathy, bit like me, tends to fall underneath the radar. See, because I'm in charge, I have the choice. I can spotlight myself or not. But Cathy seems to think that she can just fly underneath the radar and get out of it no matter what, because everybody else gets a 10. But every now and then it's good to hear what the leaders are doing. And the reason that I really, really want you as a speaker today, Cathy, is because you've been with Kangaroo for 10 years now. And I still remember at 16, and then you went to 17. Like, I still remember the 16 years, but it's now 18 years. So give us a reminder. Do your elevator pitch on Kangaroo, and then the quick history of how did this come about? How did you end up selling it?
Absolutely. And thank you for that. Literally in 2008, I went to a networking meeting, and the person there was a couple at one of the networking meetings, like a meetup, and they said, we give water away for free. And I was like, whoa, I need to figure that out. And so I met with them the second they were finished, the meeting was over. And as soon as I did, I said, I've got to know how you give water away for free. They smiled, of course, because it was not their first rodeo. And I went to their house, saw the machine, tasted the water, and the rest is history. And so literally, I have been networking full time since 2008, selling Kangen water machines. And one thing led to another. And I started literally utilizing the bank sales training system. If you've ever heard of that, it's a personality sales training system, and I love it. And I became certified with Sherry Tree, and she's amazing. And so that was helping me and certainly my team. And then in 2014, I became certified with the Magic, and it was quite a procedure, 1 week training session. And once I became certified, I was able to train. I think there's 200 of us in the world now. And so I was able to train people anywhere. It doesn't matter if they're on my team or not. I'm able to help anybody learn how to do this. And so, as I said, the rest is history, and I'm able to help people around the world with Kangen water. And so it really has been a dynamic journey. And from 2008 to now is like so much fun. And I get to meet amazing people. Debbie Miller's on my team, and that's a blast because I get to network with her often. And it really has been a dynamic journey.
That's excellent. How did you meet Debbie Miller?
Actually, it was during COVID, I believe, and one of our mutual friends had a Zoom call, and Debbie was on the call, and I was like, wow. And then as soon as I was introduced to Happy Neighborhood Project, I said, guess what we're going to do? And she was like, what? And I said, you're going to be a co-host for Happy Neighborhood Project Midwest Ladies. And so she was like, what? And so she didn't say no. And so that's how we got together. And we've been networking together ever since.
That's neat. Who was it you were networking with first? Was it Michelle Cruz?
Michelle, she has a business also with Legal Shield, and I've been on Michelle's team for several years. And Michelle has a couple of my water machines. Actually, she's got her whole family on the water. And so that has been a great fit for me as well.
Yeah, yeah. That's
And
really
she
cool.
likes purple. So if she
I
likes purple,
know,
that's,
right? I know. Just
I
up in
know.
the chat box, I was looking at it going, oh, look, Kathy's put a border around it. And I'm going, no, she hasn't. Debbie's put a legal shield border, purple border around the QR code.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
really interesting. That's really funny. Helen, you've got your hand up.
So, Cathy, what makes Kangen water so unique and different from, say, like other filters or whatever, please?
Absolutely. First of all, the machine itself, these are called ionizers, and you can look up how an ionizer actually functions. And the first thing that happens is you turn on your tap water, and then you turn on the diverter valve of the water machine, and the water goes through our filter first. And once it goes through the filter, it goes through 230 watts of electrical charge and restructures the tap water, which means it takes out the inorganic molecules that your body can't use, and it goes out the discharge hose and keeps the organic minerals that you can use. And that's why usually there are fantastic results. You feel better, you sleep better. The energy part is amazing, actually. And I can't imagine where I would be without it. So literally it filters first, ionizes second. And as soon as it does the ionization, the inorganic matter goes down the discharge hose, and the good water, as we call it, the organic minerals, actually goes out the top where you collect the water. And that is basically what makes Kangen different. Now, most people think it's just the alkalinity, and that has not been my experience, because my tap water in my city is alkaline, as are many cities in the United States. So if alkaline was the only deal, all you'd need is your tap water and you'd have alkaline water. So obviously that's not it. The ionization process and getting rid of the inorganic matter is the biggest part. And introducing 230 watts of electrical charge into your water machine definitely changes things.
Is that the bit that turns it from positive to negative?
Absolutely. Oxidation reduction potential is what we call that, and ORP. And there are meters, ORP meters, and you can even see them on Amazon. And needless to say, I have several because I love measuring the ORP, because that's usually fascinating to people. Tap water, at least in my city, is usually about a positive 230. 230, literally, it's phenomenal to me. If 230 positive, and our water, the Kangen water, is actually about a negative 800 or 900. If that is the number, and all of a sudden you're drinking negatively charged water, the difference in how you feel, the difference in how smooth it is, I just can't even tell you the difference. And back in the day, pre-COVID, our business model, at least in my town, initially, if it was someone out of town, obviously they would buy the machine. There's a 30-day money back guarantee. So that's never been an issue. But if people were in my town, or I met them at the Chamber of Commerce or some of our in-person meetings before COVID, obviously they'd come over here, they'd get a sample of water. I'd fill up about 6 or 7 gallons for them so they could drink the water for a couple days, just so they and their family could learn how, what it does for them. And all of a sudden they'd come back, get a refill, sign the application, and buy their machine. So that was the business model back in the day. And then COVID certainly changed that, but quite frankly, it became more efficient, and my business improved because not all my clients were local. And so that changed things quite right off the bat. So if you get negatively charged water, literally because of the electricity, and all of a sudden you're drinking that, I just can't even tell you. Deb can mention this as well. It's just so smooth and refreshing, and it doesn't have that, I call it gut rot. I'm sorry about that, but it hurts your stomach if you drink, like, let's say a plastic bottle of water and you just chug that down. A lot of times after you just chug it, because you're so thirsty, you don't feel well. Your stomach kind of sloshes around, and it's just an
You can
uncomfortable
hear it.
feeling.
You can jump around, and it jump around,
Absolutely.
and it jumps. You can hear
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
And Kangen actually does not do that. People take it when they work out at gyms and things like that. I had a girl who didn't believe a word I said. And I said, well, how about if you actually prove me wrong? And she said, what? And I said, come over, get your free sample of Kangen water, and take it to Pilates with you, because she was quite a gym rat, as we call them here, which is a compliment from a standpoint you work out all the time. And so she was a gym rat, and she said, well, I can't get through Pilates because I don't feel well, because I'm so thirsty when I'm doing Pilates, and I drink my bottle of water and then I'm like, ugh, and I have to quit. And I said, well, drink Kangen instead and let's see what happens. Needless to say, she bought her machine too. And that was her proof, is it didn't slosh around in her stomach anymore. So the difference in negatively charged water to the stuff that's in plastic is quite a big difference. So she did not have the sloshing around anymore. And that was a huge fit for her, because she could now get through her Pilates.
Yeah. Helen.
Go ahead.
I'm really interested. So, sorry, I don't know, my connection's a bit bad here and I keep getting bits and pieces missing, so you might have already said it. So I'm just sort of wondering, so you're saying, what I'm getting is that when after it's gone through the filter process, and it's also all the inorganic minerals or whatever minerals that you don't need are taken out,
Right.
it's
Yes.
positively charging the water?
It's negatively charging the water.
Oh, negative. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh-huh.
And so
You want to drink negatively charged water. And the body is actually, well, quite frankly, we are probably about a 6.0 as far as the pH scale, as far as our skin. Our stomach acid is a 1.5 pH, and that's why a lot of people end up with antacids. Calcium alkalosis is usually what that procedure is called, because you take antacids because you don't feel well after you've eaten a big meal or whatever. And there is a lot of burping and things like that, and the flatulence piece, and people don't feel well, and so they take an antacid. Well, what that does is take your acid out of your stomach, and then you can't digest anything because you just wrecked what was there designed correctly, and then you end up with, quite frankly, a worse problem. And so then the next day you don't feel well at all. And there's a big sign on the bathroom, do not enter. And it's back to the same thing. If the antacid hadn't been in there, your body's 1.5 stomach acid could have digested the food that you just ate, and then you wouldn't have such a challenge. So our 1.5 stomach acid is there for a reason. And so there's so much about Kangen. I always tell people, once you go through our website, anagic.com, you can actually become a brain surgeon, so to speak, because there's so much information on there as far as a water scientist, because you'd be able to find out so much about why Kangen is different.
I have a story about telling the boys about Kangen water systems. So a couple of years ago, right, I got Cathy's books in the post. It's been two years ago, let's say. Right. So the boys are around, 11, 12 years old, right? So I get Cathy's books in the post. And I say to the boys, I'm going, oh, I've just got Cathy's books in the post. And they go, and what does she sell? Does she sell books? Does she? I said, actually, she usually helps. I said, no, she doesn't. She usually helps me with YouTube. So she's a YouTube coach. No, actually, she's not. She sells Kangen water systems. And they're like, what is that? And I said, so imagine this, right? It's a $7,000 water machine that sits on your bench, that's plugged into the tap, that negatively charges water before you drink it. And the boy's like, $7,000 for a glass of water, right? I said, yes. And they said, what exactly does it do? And I said, so apparently our water is positively charged and this one negatively charges it. Apparently when it's a positive charge, everything we drink, about 15% absorbs through our body and 85% comes out as pee, basically, right? Because it doesn't touch anything. But when it's negatively charged, about 85% touches the body and 15% comes out as pee, right? And the boy's like, right. So I don't understand. So I said, so imagine like this. Imagine the inside of your stomach is a positive magnet. So if it's a positive magnet and then I was to drink positive water, what's going to happen to the magnet in my stomach? And the boys have gone, well, it won't touch. It'll push against each other because positive and positive. Okay. So I said, which is probably why it's not going into our body, it's just coming out of our body, right? I said, now imagine that the inside of our tummy is a positive magnet, and then the Kangen water goes through a charge and becomes negatively charged. What will happen when we drink the water now? And they've gone, well, positive and negative, it will suck together. And then Noah, it's always Noah, right? He's the real thinker. He goes, so to touch like the inside of your body. Yes. He goes, that's got to be good for you. Because that means it would be going into your body, right? I said, I believe so. And he says, so it would make you healthier, right? I said, yes, I would think so, that if you've got more water in your body than out, that you would be healthier. And he goes, and it costs $7,000. Yes. Once for the rest of your life. Yes. He goes, I don't understand why it's only $7,000. You'd think they charge more. There's an 11-year-old's view of a Kangen water machine based off just that one thing without knowing anything else about the rest of the water, is just that the drinking of water is good for you. Yeah, how to make it better for you than what you currently might be getting now. And so that's basically how I describe it. So yeah, Annie.
Thanks, Cathy. 2 questions. Do you need to replace parts in the machine like filters? Because I know a lot of water systems, people start to go mouldy and they've got to take it out and put a new one in.
Well, first of all, we don't ever get mold. I've had my machine for 18 years now, and there's never been such a thing as that. You do get a cleaning cartridge that comes with your machine, and citric acid cleaner, which is just little powder granules that literally there's a process that you do once a month at least. Some people do it twice a month because they've got large water usage. But literally, you replace the filter, the machine tells you when, and oh my gosh, I forgot to buy one. There's a reset button inside where the filter compartment is, and it says filter reset, and it buys you some more time until you get your filter ordered. So those are usually, depending upon the household usage, usually about once a year. Every 8 to 12 months is what we usually tell people. And those filters are about 120, 130 bucks, depending upon US, depending upon which machine you have, because we've got several different models, as you can see here. This is our home office in Los Angeles. And when I was there for one of the award ceremony things, it was such a cool thing because I said, oh my gosh, I really can't wait to see the whole office headquarters that we have in Los Angeles, California. And so I snuck behind the desk and had one of my friends take my picture in front of all these, behind actually all these machines, because I thought, oh my gosh, what kind of chance am I ever going to have that they wouldn't have it locked off, roped off? And then of course with COVID, everything did get blocked off. So that I'm glad I did it when I did. But yes, the filter is replaced. When you make your 2,5 and 11,5 waters, which is the strong alkaline to clean fruits and veggies, and the strong acidic, which is hand sanitizer and throat gargle, and many different, 2.5 is actually one of my favorite waters because it does so much. But the pH levels, there's 7 different pH levels on these units. And every button that you push makes a different type of water, and each water has many different applications. And so the 2.5 water and the 11.5 water requires what we call enhancer liquid. And that, I believe, is still about $3 a bottle. Most of the time they sell it in little packets now, little pouches. And so, but it's still quite inexpensive. And I usually buy it by the case because I go through a lot of the hand sanitizer and certainly fruits and veggie wash. You go to farmer's market and you take your gorgeous, organic, fabulous, amazing produce home and rinse it in chlorinated tap water. I'm always just shaking my head on how could you possibly do that? Plus, when you rinse it in the strong alkaline water, it increases the longevity. At least I've experienced that myself. So you don't have to throw out that gorgeous bounty that you just paid a fortune for.
That's good. Yeah, that's amazing. My other question was, are there any anecdotes about using the water with animals?
Well, I don't know about the anecdote part, but I had a 19-and-a-half-year-old calico cat, and those are usually quite fragile by breed. And she was literally 19 and a half, and all she ever drank ever that she got in her mouth was Kangen water. And so, well, for 14 of her years, because I didn't have the machine when I first got her, but that's all she ever had. And she was literally hopping around until the last day. She actually just died. And so it was a very peaceful death. There wasn't any disease or trauma or anything like that. She was great. And now she was, shall we say, feisty, but she was perfectly healthy and very, very, very energetic all the time. And I have several grandchildren, and so she was always energetic around them as well, like hiding from them and running away usually. But she was effervescent, to say the least. So according to the actual manual, people say that just depending upon the size of the pet, you don't want to do it. But she was 7 pounds, and so she had Kangen always. But they usually say sometimes 30-pound is the minimum weight that you can do for an animal, but that has not been my experience. My granddogs and grandkitties have been on Kangen forever, and they are various sizes, but some of them are 6, 7, 8 pounds. And that has not been an issue, but you have to do what the manual says and according to the company. And that's what the rules that we have to play by.
And
But
they choose it anyway, don't they? I mean, if you put down 2 different sorts of
Absolutely.
water, they'll pick what they want to drink based off
Well,
what
their
they
noses are super sensitive, and that seems
Yep.
to be the problem. They sniff, and all of a sudden their sinuses inhale that chlorine and the crud that's in the tap water, or quite frankly, the formaldehyde that could be in the bottled water because of the plastic leaching. And so when they sniff that, they don't want that. And so if you put a bowl of bottled or tap and a bowl of Kangen, they always pick the Kangen first because it doesn't have the crud in it. And so that is usually their choice as well. But again, we have to say what the company manual says.
Yeah.
What's
I
up,
told my
Dad?
dog not to have it, but I couldn't stop him. You know, Terry can't smell anything, like nothing at all. Although I do claim he can smell chocolate chip cookies from about 2.5 miles away. And I was sneaking a bit of chocolate brownie, which apparently it was my job to go down the street, spend $20 on all the ingredients. And then once it was brought home and Simon cooked it with the boys for school lunches, I was then specifically told that I was not allowed to eat any because it was theirs. And I've gone, what, I'm supposed to cook my own? So, of course, I broke one off yesterday when the boys were at school. I broke off to eat half of one, and a bit fell on the ground. Now, Terry is a golden retriever, will eat everything, right? But if you put a treat down on the ground and then cover it and tell him he's to sit there, and then you let go of it and then walk away from it and then say, you can have it now, he can't find it. Like, he so can't smell it. He can't find it. He doesn't remember where it was. He can't smell it. Yesterday, he was outside. I snuck this bit of brownie. A crumb, like less than half my fingernail fell onto the ground. Terry came inside and found it instantly, and I've gone, there you go. So, yeah, you can't stop them from having what they want. Like, if there's 2 waters there, they'll do whatever they like. So, yeah. Debbie, you had your hand up?
Well, I was just going to mention that one of the reasons why we have a water machine, even though we have no pets to drink it, was because the person in between Cathy and I, she was telling me about her pet dog who, when the water bowl was empty and her husband forgot to fill it up, the dog just sat there and looked at that pup dad and like, why aren't you filling it? And when he tried to fill it with sink water, yeah, it still sat there and he didn't drink it. But when they got the right water, he was very anxious to have his drink. So
Yeah,
obviously there's a big difference.
I have had several people purchase machines because of their pets, quite frankly. A lot of people, once they tried the water, they wanted it because of what it did for them, energy and things like that. But I've had several sales because the person goes, oh my gosh, my dog loves it, my cat loves it, my family loves it, my everything loves it. And so that is a great testimony, Debbie, but it's so true. And plus, kids have been great salespeople because a lot of times the machine, or at least the water from the machine, goes to their science project, because all the 7 different levels of pH water, they change colors. So kids use it because they say, see this water, it comes right out of my kitchen faucet. How can I have 7 different colors from my kitchen faucet because of a Kangen water machine? Why is that? And it's because the pH levels are different. You have super dark purple, a little lighter purple, lighter blue, green, certainly. You can have yellow, which is the beauty water for your skin, which is a 6.0 pH. Then you can have strong acid water. Oh my gosh. And then you've got bright orange, and then you can go all the way to red. pH always equals 14, and pH, the 14 is actually black. And many times that would be like a baking soda or actually lye. And those pH levels are black. Now, we don't have those on our machines, but we go from purple to pretty much bright orange and everything in between. And kids a lot of times do Kangen water for science projects.
There you go. Well, that's interesting about the picture that was in your background. Honestly, I thought that was your kitchen. I've always thought that was your kitchen when you said you used to cook, but now you don't. And, it's set up like, I've gone, that's what Cathy's kitchen looks like.
No, not at all. That is my actual home office in Los Angeles.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, thank you, Cathy, for being the speaker today. I do love it when we get a chance to ask you questions, because as a general rule, you'll interview others and you'll get them talking about themselves, and it's not so easy to pin you down. Hands up who's ever had a one-to-one with Cathy. I have been on a call with Cathy, but I can't say I had a one-to-one with her because she wouldn't let me stop talking about me. She's hard to pin down going back the other way. So,
well, you were actually on Cathy Chat, my friend.
I know. I know, right? And I
Yeah.
thought, I think this is the best that I'm getting in regards to having a one-to-one with Cathy. And I
Yeah.
don't dislike it. It's just, it's good to be able to pin you down and get the back end story from you about what it is that you're doing. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And thank you, audience, for being participating and being part of the fun conversation today about water. I love water personally. Like I'm a huge fan of water, always have been. As a kid, I didn't have soft drink all that much, and I didn't drink cordial all that much. I'll tell you why. Because it seemed like too much trouble to just take the lid off the cordial bottle and pour that into a glass of water, when I could just go to the tap, put water in it, and I'm done now. You know, like soft drink or soda, as they say in America, you know, that involves getting a bottle out, taking the lid off and pouring it. I could just turn a tap on. So I've always been a water girl. It seems so simple. So the different types of waters, definitely I can taste the differences, and am fascinated by water because I really like it. Noah's very much like me. Whereas Simon likes water in his beer, in his coffee, in the bucket.
That's my husband too.
He'll dehydrate himself until he gets, you know, what he's after. So yeah. So thank you so much, Cathy. Thank you, audience.